Hi, I'm Alex Wolff, and you're watching the Permanent Rain Press.
Hi everyone, it's Chloe with the Permanent Rain Press, and today I am so happy to be joined by Alex Wolff. How are you?
I'm great. I was just telling you before we started that I just quick shaved because I was getting a little scruffy, and now I'm bleeding everywhere. Like I said, this interview will be very bloody. There will be blood just coming down my neck and my face, and hopefully it's not too distracting. I'm
Just
okay
a
with
little bit of gore, no worries
Yeah,
at
why
all.
not? Why not?
I have to congratulate you on your Canadian Screen Award nomination for
Thank
your
you.
role as Henry in Castle in the Ground. Tell me, how did this role challenge you as an actor?
Oh man, it was a really challenging one. Every role I feel like is challenging in different ways, but this one was physically challenging because it was someone who had been going through super rough time taking care of his mother who was ailing, and he starts getting involved in drug addiction, and we like to say he was an addict from the beginning. He was kind of addicted to caretaking and addicted to whatever he kind of put his focus on. And I think he just is a normal boy who gets put in a situation where you really see how he becomes an addict. You see how easy it is, how easy it can happen, especially when you're surrounded by these drugs and too much of the drugs and then too little. They give you too much up front and then they take it away, and it's a really kind of cruel process, especially in 2012, right? I think that's where the movie that's when it's set. But for me, I lost a bunch of weight very quickly for it. Because he starts on the drugs pretty early, and people lose weight really quickly when they take especially drugs like this or fentanyl, whatever. They just have no reason to eat sometimes for that, some people, Imogen was telling me, like, there's a lot of people who start eating more, but whatever it is, it changes your dietary needs. And so a lot of these kids will start in a weekend, they are gaunt looking and not sleeping. And so I had tried to get that look going. And, that was a really excruciating process. And also I didn't really have a nutritionist or someone who could help me with it. Now I would have done it a little differently, but at that moment I didn't want to do it the more official way. But it was challenging in every way. And the role is really challenging, and it's really challenging to bridge this line between a movie about a young guy and his mother and then turn it into something kind of more thriller and anxiety inducing. And so I found the entire process to be pretty challenging and rewarding, but I'd say the rewards maybe were a little later, like at Toronto, and they were it was so cold out there too. It was tough. It was one of the harder shoots I've ever done. I think everyone around me did not enjoy being around me during that time. I have this paranoia that there's shaving cream on all places of my face. Like there's little and remnants. So you'll just see me throughout the interview doing things like this. And you just got to get used to that.
Not a problem. Well, I have to say, watching Henry's descent into dependency was painful for viewers, but it was acted so well. As you mentioned, themes of addiction, but there are also themes of grief, compassion, and distance. So, what was it like working with your writer-director, Joe Klein, and his vision?
Amazing. Joey, it felt like it was all his DNA in this one. He wrote it in just a really personal way and a lot about his own experience just in life with his relationship, I think, with his parents and his relationship to other people surrounding him, and also Sudbury, knowing it really well, and having just a total keen eye for good movies. And he introduced me to a ton of great movies I hadn't seen before. And so I felt in really good hands. I felt like, and I really, really liked his first movie a lot, The Other Half. So I felt in good hands with him. And especially there would be times I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of walking around with a hammer. But he was like, taught me to kind of just trust myself, not ask him a million questions, figure everything out. Just go for it and follow your instincts and your id. And it felt all like one big dream, the movie. And it felt very special.
Yeah, I did think that he brought like this raw perspective to the story. And you mentioned Imogen. What was it like working with her as a scene partner?
She's so good. I mean, she's just so amazing in this movie. I think this is one of my favorite performances she's ever done, but she's done so many great ones. Um, and I felt really inspired. She's one of the most creative, exciting, and diligent and focused actors I've ever worked with. I just felt like we really became kind of brother and sister on this movie. You know, we really just locked in, and I felt really lucky to be a part of it with her.
Watching Anna and Henry's dynamic was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
I
Not
know, it's so funny. It's so funny too. It's really fun. You know, people don't know that about this movie. It's not just super dreary, and it's got a lot of darkness to it and pain, you know, in it, but it's also really funny and really lovely, and you know.
And that kind of feeds into the next question, but like ultimately, what do you hope viewers take away from Castle in the Ground?
I mean, I hope they take away feeling like it's just a really good movie, and they really feel the effects of Henry and Anna, and Henry's relationship with everybody. But in a bigger sense, I hope people can see how easy it is for someone to fall into addiction, and how complicated it is, and how quickly it happens. You know, it happens really quick, and it happens really easily. And I think people have this weird thing about addiction where they just think it's not going to be them. They just think, oh, well, I'm just taking this drug a little for pain or for whatever. And more often than not, it spirals out of control because these drugs are just so strong. And you know, if they're used, I guess, properly monitored, they can be okay. But for the most part, they're just way too much is prescribed, and it's just heartbreaking what it's doing to the world. These crazy drugs that are just, I mean, opiates in particular are just destroying this country, turning it on the inside out, and Canada. It's huge in Canada. It's just, so I hope people can see that, you know, maybe they see a little bit of themselves in it, and oh, I kind of do that. I kind of have these patterns of addiction or whatever. It made me examine my own patterns, and made me examine people around me's patterns. And it's one of my favorite portraits of addiction I've ever seen, because it's very seductive and it's very quick that he starts. And I just really, I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of what Joey did.
Alex said it best, but it is vivid and striking. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch Castle in the Ground. It is out on video on demand. Now let's shift gears, talk about music. You've come a long way since the Naked Brothers band. Glue is a really wonderful track. The music
Oh,
video, I don't know, you were eating puzzle pieces, chilling on the roof. What was it like putting that one together?
really fun. Jack Beggar directed it, who's amazing, who, you know, works with Kendrick Lamar and Dominic Fike and everybody. So he is just, you know, he is so cool. So we had a great time. It was just a great apt representation of our time in quarantine, and just so fun. I mean, and really relaxed, just a fun, relaxed time.
And you mentioned new music coming soon. What details can
Yeah,
you share?
we just made a record, and we don't know when it's going to come out, but it's got a lot of songs. So I'm excited. I think people have been hounding us for a record for a while, but it just kind of happened naturally. So yeah, we got a ton of new music coming out. Pretty exciting.
Sound wise or lyric wise, any teases from what you and Nat have been working on?
Sound wise, it's hard. I mean, I think we love some of Paul McCartney's solo album. We love obviously the Beatles and stuff, but I feel like this is even more. There's some Paul McCartney solo in there. We're hugely inspired by Frank Ocean, Blonde, and Wilco. Yankee Hotel Foxtrot we were listening to a lot. And I don't know, maybe if you fused like Back to the Egg, Paul McCartney, and Blonde, and Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, and I don't know, like maybe a James Taylor album or something. I don't know, maybe you'd come across our album. But I think it's its own thing, hopefully. But those are just some of the wide varieties that we're inspired by.
So I can't let you go without talking about one of this generation's favorite bromances or active friendships, which is that of you and your The House of Tomorrow co-star, Asa Butterfield. Tell me a bit about your friendship.
Oh my God, that's so funny. So we hadn't talked in like 2 weeks, which is a lot for us. We're talking all the time, and he got so busy, I got so busy, and we just did a really long FaceTime, which was really fun. And he's the best. We went to Portugal together. We stayed in London together for like almost 2 months. I stayed in his room, and we shared a room, and then because he had this like little mat bed on his in the ground, and it was not in the ground, but it was on the ground, and it was super uncomfortable and super fun. And then we went to Portugal together, and it was such a blast. We had such a fun time. We were just debaucherous and drinking on the street, and just so fun. Just the best time. Probably one of the best trips of my life. He's the best guy. He's such a good actor. He's just such a good actor. He's such a good actor and a really good musician too. I taught him how to play bass for that movie, and now he's way better at bass than I am. He's just amazing. He's just badass. Maybe not way better at bass than I am, but he's really, really good. I couldn't give him that fully.
Any chance of a Nat and Alex Mambo Fresh collaboration
Oh
down the
my
road?
God, wouldn't that be so funny? So fun. Fuck yeah. I will put that on record that yes, that'll happen very soon.
Awesome. And our signature question, if you could be any ice cream flavor, which would you be and why?
I would be the ice cream flavor. Not eat for the rest of my life. I would just be. Wouldn't I melt? Am I overthinking it? Wouldn't I melt? Okay, check this out. I'd be a popsicle or a snow cone, because I feel like they would not melt for a long time. And it feels like they're better. Yeah, I'd be something like that. I'd be a popsicle or something very icy, so I can stick around for a while. Because when you eat an ice cream, it's falling down in the summer.
I think you're taking it too literally.
I think you might be right.
But that might be the first snow cone we heard. So
snow cone. I like snow cone. Snow cone or popsicle. That's a pretty good answer. No, I would be one of those orange and cream. Those ones that are a creamsicle. I'd be a creamsicle.
And that has a bit of flavor in it, so.
That's a great flavor. Oh, it's great, and it's got a gooey inside with a, hard icy outside, which is me.
There you go, personification. I like it. Thank you so much, Alex, for taking the time to chat. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Make sure to catch Alex in Castle in the Ground. It is out on video on demand. New music from Nat and Alex Wolff coming soon, and we will see you next time.
How do we make sure I win the award? What do we do?